So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Jones County Board of Appeals and Adjustments and Jones County Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. I call us to order at 6 o'clock. First item of business is approval of our April minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
There's a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any old business?
No, ma'am.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the way this works is we will first hear the appeal portion of the meeting, then that is closed, and we move to the planning and zoning portion of the meeting. You have a chance to speak as the applicant, and people in support of your application have a chance to speak, and then anyone here in opposition has a chance to speak, and anyone in support of that opposition has a chance to speak. So it's back, and we don't go back and forth. Please plan to speak to the board and not backwards to the audience. First item tonight is, let me back up. Following item will be heard, never mind. I forget, on appeals, we are the final hearing, so there is no second hearing. I apologize. So whatever decision is made tonight by this board is the decision for our appeals item. We have a Mr. Jason Ashley, or Mrs. Jason Ashley, who is requesting a variance to allow an accessory building in the front yard. The property is located at 2990 Highway 18 West, and it consists of 7.14 acres, zoned Ag 1, which is agricultural rural. Is Jason Ashley here? Would you come up, sir, please, and tell us about your situation?
Looking to do just a metal building, and the property layout just so happens to be a very hilly property with a lot of hills. The house, log cabin that's on the house now is at the far back edge of the property now, so it kind of doesn't leave much room but the front yard for the building. And it's just a pre-engineered metal building is all it is for storage. Is all we're trying to do, and it just so happens to be in the front yard. It's the only level place I can find to put it. The only other level place would be a top of my septic tank, and I don't think that's a good idea. So
Okay.
that's all there is to it. And I think when you said the address a second ago, I don't know if you said the right address.
I said 2290
Okay,
Highway
I'm
18
sorry, I thought you
West.
said 29, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
might have misread it.
That's
It's
fine,
been a
yeah.
long day for me, so I'm gonna
Gotcha.
apologize to all of y'all. I'm trying to get out of here tomorrow to Massachusetts, and I have been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So if I don't do things quite right, I will try to back up and redo.
That's fine.
So is there anyone here who would be in support of Mr. Ashley's request? Is there anyone here in opposition to Mr. Ashley's request? Does the board have questions?
This is in his appeals, so it's been heard before.
Sir?
It's been heard before and gets approved. Is that why it's an appeal?
No, sir, this is a variance, it's not an appeal.
Okay.
This is the initial hearing.
Okay.
How far from the road is this storage building gonna be from Highway 18?
So from the road, I didn't measure the actual road, because there's, where the distance from the building to the road, there's actually a strip of property that's not mine between me and the road. From the building to the property line is right at 100 feet is where it's at. From the property line to the road, my guess is around 300 feet
Wow.
of somebody else's. So I mean, I'm 300 to 400.
You
feet
say 300?
Yeah, 300 to 400
Is your mic on? Is there a little green light on there?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be close enough.
Okay. It's probably
I talk
me.
fast and low, sorry.
It's me, I'm sure. Okay, and the property, the lay of the land there between the road and your storage building, is it wooded there? or-
Yeah, it's wood. It's very thick wooded land right there. Yeah,
You
it's
see
not
it from the highway?
when it's winter time, barely.
Okay.
The building's going to be the house is a log cabin with a green roof, so the metal building's going to be a dark brown to match the log cabin, so it kind of blends in and matches everything.
Okay.
I don't want a white building to stand out like a sore thumb.
All right.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So, sir, you're approved without further ado.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we conclude our appeals hearing and will convene the planning and zoning portion of the meeting tonight. These items will be heard by the commissioners. We make a recommendation tonight, and then the final decision goes before the commissioners. That will be on Tuesday, July the 1st, here in this room. First item tonight is Gray Community Church. Can y'all hear me all right in the back speaking? Okay. Gray Community Church, which is requesting a conditional use to allow an existing building to be used for a church. The property is located at 215 Old Highway 18 East, and it consists of 22.23 acres, which is zoned rural residential. Is someone here tonight to speak on behalf of the church? Would you come up and tell us about your project? Could you give us, I forgot to ask you, would you give us your name, please, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Josh Eccles. I'm the pastor at Great Community Church,
And your address, home address,
174 Sandra Drive, Gray, Georgia.
and
Good evening. TJ Heath. I live at 416 Monticello Highway, and I own the property there, the subject property.
thank you. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yes, so as I said, I'm the pastor at Great Community Church. We're here to ask for approval for a conditional use permit on this property. This is where the old Old Clinton Opry is there. I know that the address on there says 215. I don't know that that property actually has a physical address. 215 is the neighbor's property, so I don't know what that correction needs to be. There's a sticky note on that yellow sign out there. But Great Community Church, we started 2 years ago. As a church, we run about 280 people on a Sunday now. We meet at the Knox Auditorium and have 2 services in there. I'm from Jones County, born and raised here, and moved back a couple years ago to start this church. And it's been an awesome journey for us. Like I said, we run about 280 people. We've seen about 140 people give their life to Christ since we moved here. And we run about 75 to 100 kids on a Sunday. So a lot of young families being involved in our church. And we're not just some organization moving from out of town. We're a lot of local folks who are here and want to continue to serve and love this community. Our mission's simple. We want to know God and make God known. And we do that by our Sunday services, by ministering to kids, serving our community. I don't know if you saw the Easter egg drop that with the helicopter a few months back, right around Easter. That was us. We want to find ways to bring our community together and to have fun together and to give families a place to be. And so we're requesting a use for this property for us to be able to have a religious assembly there for church. And I think it's my understanding there's already a conditional use on this property for a gathering and for an assembly. So I guess it would just be a transition to make it to be a church. We'll renovate that building that's there for our worship services and our children's ministry, and then we may have a couple offices in there where 2 or 3 staff members are. We'll work alongside Landmark Construction with TJ in the renovation phase of this, so they'll help walk us through making sure we're doing all the right things and walking us through the due diligence in that to ensure that all codes, requests, and the overall benefit of Jones County is considered, and that's our desire. We want to see this community thrive, and we want to do all we can to make sure that is happening. This property is right around a lot of commercial development that Landmark has been leading the way in, so we believe that this is really a great location, not only for us as a church, but just for the community as a whole, where you have a young, thriving place that's growing. We believe it enhances this area. Not only is it good for us, but I think it will make this area a better place to have a young church here that's growing and excited. Our activities will mostly be on Sundays. We don't do a midweek service. We just have our Sunday morning stuff. Most of our other groups, they meet in homes throughout the week, throughout the community. So that will be the only time we would have a lot of traffic or anything like that would be on Sundays. And we've got parking lots drawn out and all that kind of stuff is there. I believe you should have an image of that as well. And we'll do all we can to bless the neighbors that are around us and to serve them and to make sure that they're taken care of as well. I'm excited for this opportunity for our church. I'm excited for Jones County in general. Jones County's 80% of people do not have a church home. And so we need more churches in this community. And the more people who are in church, I think the less crime you have. I think the less issues you have, the less broken marriages you got. And that's our desire is to restore and see this community thrive. And we believe this building, this location is the place for us to do that. And so we would love for you to consider voting yes and giving a great recommendation for us for this property.
Mr. Heath, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I think just answering any questions, and just so you get the big picture, you know, we're ranchers and the car wash, and I've owned all that for many years, and then, the property, the subject property that we're speaking of is, you know, I bought it a couple years ago, kind of joins on my property, and really just, you know, I grew up in this community, and that road, every neighbor I've went and spoke to, because I personally know these people. They've done business with me over the years. I went and spoke with them and said, hey, here's what we're doing. There's been a lot of opportunities for me to do a lot of things on that property that I chose not to do, just because of the neighbors and trying to keep all that commercial activity there. So when I developed all that and they built the bypass, I sold the state a lot of land to build the bypass on, and that is the only commercial access on the entire bypass is the property that I own there. And so there is an opportunity there to do other things that I've just turned down, apartments, you know, things like that. So when Josh came to me and, you know, talked to me about what their church's vision and what they were looking for, I thought this would be a really good fit for the area, because there was already stuff going on there. And, you know, it would also be least invasive to the neighbors where that old dirt road is, which connects back up to where my other store is. And so that's kind of my thought process. You know, no doubt in my mind that, you know, someday all that will be commercial from there back down. You have to have commercial somewhere, and where you get access and you got people traveling and things like that. But I think keeping that road the way it is up through there and having a church there is probably the best opportunity, and then commercial we can work back, you know, the other way. So that was why I thought this was really a good fit. But I can answer any questions, any concerns if anybody has any.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak in support of this first? Take a turn, come up and tell us who you are, please. We'll come back to questions, y'all. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Wesley Ransom. I live at 807 Holly Ridge Drive here in Gray. I work with the Sheriff's Office, and I've been with Gray Community Church since its inception. And like Josh said, our core values are simply know God and make God known. And to that extent, I'm wearing one of our Serve Team shirts. We are very active in serving this community, and I believe that wherever our church is will be impacted positively in the community. We've got a Serve Day planned at the end of this month, where instead of having our Sunday gathering, we will have groups spread out throughout the community serving in different ways, whether it's building ramps for some handicapped folks, or my group will be serving free meals on the side of Gray Highway and ministering to some people in some impoverished areas. But our goal is simply to be a light in this community. And we believe that having this church home will aid us in that, and it will be only a benefit to all those around us. I can't see any negative impact for the area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I'm Greg Mullis, Justice 115 Virginia Lane. I've had the good fortune of living in this community for over 30 years now. Not from Jones County, but I've been involved in economic development and the benefit of Jones County and seeing it bring prosperity for a number of years, pretty much my entire career. I have also been involved with the Development Authority for a long time. Seeing our community grow economically has been fabulous. Watching what Landmark has done on the corner of the bypass there has really done a lot to enhance our community. And the thought that we can have a place of worship involved in that development really speaks to the amount of time that Josh, and to his credit, TJ, have really given some thought to putting this in the right place. I've never been involved in a church plant, but it's interesting. I was looking at statistics. About 50% of the charitable giving in our country comes through a church. You know, Josh talked about the need for reaching the unchurched and giving that stability in our families. And I'm excited about the opportunity that this this church brings and having this location as a home base out of. So just ask for your support for this tonight and favorable recommendation to the commission. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Greg. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in support of this? Tell us your name and address, please, sir.
Stephen Smith. I live at 109 Turner Woods. I've just witnessed a lot of growth within this church and a fire that's ignited within not only myself, but numerous families within this church, hundreds of families. And just like the Gospel of Matthew tells us, that you do not light a lamp and put it under a basket. You put it on top of a post to light the whole house. And I see Gray Community Church as the means to put this city on top of a hill for all to see as a beacon of hope. Thank you.
Anyone else here who'd like to speak in support? Is there anyone here who wants to speak in opposition? Okay, board members, do you have questions?
I got a question. Mr. Heath, the church leasing or buying this part of this property from you?
Right now, the talk is about purchasing,
Okay.
but that could go either way.
Okay, all right. I asked because I see this resolution here where it says that have the right to and desires to purchase 6-acre tract. So I didn't know if they're buying it, leasing it, or what, so.
Yeah, I think their intentions are to buy it, but I own all the other stuff and I lease stuff too, so that's always an option. But right now, yes, sir, to answer your question.
You had previously touched on the codes and renovations. Could you expand a little bit about the end result, what the goal is as far as renovations and how it's going to look?
As far as the church,
Yeah, because I'm asking with regard to the code enforcement with respect to sprinkler systems, capacity, fire exits, things like that.
yeah, we would have to follow all the rules for building permits, but right now we're keeping it below the required square footage, so you wouldn't have to do sprinkler systems and things like that. So as far as, we would have to follow all the state and county codes for, fire and, but as far as exterior finishes, I mean, it'd be a great improvement because right now there's several mobile homes around that property. And that building's, really old, so we will be taking all that off, tearing some of that down over time and just improving that area there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So the mobile homes will go away?
Yeah.
that the plan?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, not immediately, but yes, they will. So, and since I've owned the property, I've if somebody moved out, and like I said, I kind of inherited those people that were in those homes, and I noticed that there was some problems. So when people moved out, I just didn't rent it again.
Anybody else with questions? Have a motion?
I move to recommend approval.
Do I have a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So this is a recommendation. It will go forward to the commissioners July 1st
Thank you.
for a final decision.
Okay. Yep. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. All right, item number 2, under planning and zoning, is Barbara Baker, who is requesting to rezone property that is located at 605 Green Settlement Road in order to allow it to be subdivided. The property consists of 2.91 acres zoned agricultural rural. Is Ms. Baker here? Would you come up and talk to us, please, ma'am?
Yes, I've got property on the corner of Green Settlement Road and Comer Road, and at one time I owned 17 acres, okay? And I have had one house there at one time. When I moved there in '94, there was one house there. In '98, my son moved a signal light in there on the property on the Green Settlement Road frontage. And with all this property together, I don't know how to explain it to y'all, it's a long, drawn-out thing, but I had 17 acres at one time, okay? So I had 3 mobile homes on my property at one time in the same area, which is on Green Settlement Road next door to the Freemans. It was 3 mobile homes there. So when I moved there in 2007, I put another double wide in there on that same property, which is next door to the Freemans. So that made 3 houses on that one strip of property right through their area. And so I'm the last driveway on the left-hand side, third driveway on the left-hand side going down and from Comer Road. So what I'm trying to say is that when I moved in there, they gave me a permit to put my double wide in there. I moved back from Warner Robins in 2007 and put another double wide in there. Okay, so that made 3 homes on that area, which was supposed to be, I thought it was always 6 acres, but according to y'all, it was 4.91 acres. Okay, so I got 3 mobile homes on 4.91 acres right in that area there. But in 2016, I sold all the property from Comer Road back to my driveway. And then, after I sold all that property in 2016, my daughter got sick and had to put her in the nursing home. So my grandson, I gave him the old house in the back area. And I was, my daughter was living in the 2007 home for a while. Then when I came back, I moved back in it and lived there for a while. And then when she got sick, I put in to get another mobile home moved in on that same property there. Well, y'all gave me a permit to move it there, knowing in 2016 that I had sold all the other property, which only left me 4.91 acres to put 3 houses on. So now I got one house, it's my grandson's, it's on 2 acres. All right, I got the small double wide is sitting there, and there was a single double wide, a single trailer there. So when I put my home in there in 2021 to come back to take care of my daughter, they gave me a permit to put it in there, and under the conditions that I moved the single wide out, tear it down and move it out. So I tore it down and moved it out. So if you look on your plat, you'll see it's only 4.91 acres for all that area right in there, and y'all gave me a permit to put my 2007 home on there. Then I came back in 2021 and put another double wide up front, and y'all gave me a permit to put it there, knowing that I didn't have but 2.91 acres left.
Is there anyone here who wants to speak in support of this?
I'm Tony Brooks, I'm her son. I live at 300 Paddington Lane in Liza, Georgia.
Thank you.
Okay. So 94, she married Lucius Malone. He owned all that corner on Green Settlement is what she's saying. So she eventually sold most of that land. And she was living in the back with Snook. I think everybody knows about Snook.
I knew Snooks.
Okay. So 4 years later, she let me move up there and put the single wide. So that's all that was there. So then she bought one and added it in there also. So it was the back property, hers and mine. So then I moved out and we took the house down, and she came back. She after Snoop died, she moved out. So she came back and put one on the front. So like this is the little strip of land. There's a house in the back and then one right here, and now she's in the front. So I'm not exactly understanding what we're talking about.
In other words, did y'all let me put the mobile home on there because I had all that acreage before? That's the reason y'all let me put that one on there. But then after I sold all that property in 2016, you can see right there that I didn't have it 2.91 acres, and y'all gave me a permit to put my double wide up, my bigger double wide up front on there.
We gave you a permit to replace that existing single wide for that double wide.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't.
But we tore the single
So,
wide down.
This is the first I've seen of
Would
this.
you like me to explain?
Okay.
So what happened is, if you've got more than 10 acres of property, you can get permits from us to have multiple homes on that piece of property. And that's what Ms. Baker did. They put multiple homes on this property. We'll not get into the nitty-gritty of what was done.
Right.
Then over time, they subdivided out some pieces. They cut that piece off in the back and some other stuff. And so in 2014, they presented a plat to my office to subdivide this property. And on that plat, they did not show the placement of the homes on the property. So when we approved that subdivision plat, they created an illegal lot. We have a 3-acre lot with 2 homes on it. Now she wants to subdivide that 3-acre lot with the 2 existing homes on it. Since we have a 2-acre minimum lot size, variance would have been required, or rezoning, which is a better solution in my opinion to this situation. So rezoning to RR, we can do a 1.1 minimum lot size, and we'd be able to accommodate their proposal. The non-conforming situation was created by the applicant when they hired a surveyor to cut out this 3-acre lot and did not show existing situation that it was on the property at that time.
So we're not trying to add anything, we're
No.
just trying to straighten out the fact that the lot size is not what it
As the
should
surveyor
have been.
measured it, yeah.
All right. So is there anybody here in opposition to this request? Would y'all like to ask questions?
I only have one question, and maybe it's right in front of me, but if this is approved, will that then create the second address? Because I'm seeing an address of 603 in the application, but it's showing 605 on the plat.
603, I gave it to my grandson, and he's sitting back here, I gave it to him. And then, when I put my home in there, I lived there, it was my home. The second one was in there. And the back home, which was 603, it owns my grandson, he's been paying on it taxes for about 3 years now. And then, I put my home in there in 2007. This little small double wide, tore down the single wide when I put my other home in there. So,
That became 605.
605 is my home now.
Okay,
On the
okay,
front.
okay,
No,
okay.
601 is my home now. 605 is it,
That-
say it's all mixed up, because the 603 is in the back. Okay, the 605 is in the middle, and I'm 601.
The only reason I'm asking is so this goes on record that I'm asking.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Multiple seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so this is a recommendation. It goes forward to the commissioners on July the 1st.
Now, what do I have to do? Do I have to wait till that July the 1st meeting?
Yes, ma'am. They'll make the final decision.
Okay.
We recommended approval, but they get to say, they have the last word. Okay? Thank you. I remember Mr. Snooks. I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, he was a sport model, I'll tell you what, I loved him, but he died too soon.
Yes, ma'am, he was a sport model.
I didn't have him long enough.
All right, thank y'all. Item 3 is Mr. Gerald Lee Ricks, who is requesting a conditional use for an accessory building, an accessory dwelling unit. Property is located across from 142 Fire Tower Road, and it consists of 25.55 acres, which are zoned agricultural rural. Mr. Ricks, would you come up and tell us about your project, please?
Ms. Hamilton, can I interrupt for a moment?
Absolutely.
I don't know if all the board's familiar with the ADU provisions, and I'd
Please.
just like to highlight those briefly.
Please.
So people like to do a mother-in-law's suite. That's a duplex, and we don't allow that. So our residential and agricultural zoning district, single family, you can't have a duplex. We do have a provision for what we call an accessory dwelling unit. We can allow you to have a mother-in-law's suite for a limited duration for a specific purpose. And in this case, if you've got a bona fide medical situation where mom needs somebody to keep an eye on her and the doctor gives you a note to that effect, then we have this provision in place. And as long as it's occupied by that person that this approval was granted for, if that situation's allowed to exist. Mom moves somewhere else, well, then they have to dismantle a portion of this dwelling unit, so that becomes a single-family dwelling again. So remove the kitchen is typically the easiest thing we do at that time. So just want to provide you guys a little bit of background for what Mr. Ricks is asking for here.
Thank you. I'm Gerald Lee Ricks. My address is 582 English Oak Lane, Prince Frederick, Maryland. I am not a Jones County native, but my wife and my mother-in-law both are. My mother-in-law is currently residing with us in Maryland temporarily, but she is so anxious to get back to Jones County and home with her brothers out on Fire Tower Road. We're asking for this additional dwelling unit to give her both some independence and for my family to have just a little bit of privacy as well. We have 2 teenagers. She grew up on that road. Her brothers, the Jackson family, are still there. She wants to be buried there on their family cemetery, and we are her caretakers. She has 25% peripheral vision in her right eye, and she is completely blind in her left eye. So the kitchenette, it's not like a full-blown kitchen, but it gives her microwave, dishwasher, and she's an air fryer queen right now. So just a space to make it feel like she's still independent and able to do some things and provide us, again, a sense of privacy as well.
And I don't think there's anybody here in support or opposition.
No, she will actually be with me on the 1st, though. She'll be here at the meeting on the 1st if it's recommended.
So does the board have questions for Mr. Ricks?
So this is just, you haven't built, you're gonna build. This is
We're going to
just a
build,
home.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. So she has another parcel on Fire Tower, 180 is the other parcel, but it's a 2-bedroom home. And of course, we can't get our family of 4 there and her.
Anything else? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So you also have a recommendation for approval, sir, and again, on the 1st, the final decision will be the commissioners.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
So, thank you for your time.
Before you go. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Good to meet you.
We've been texting and email and all that good stuff.
Yeah, if y'all approve the church, maybe I can actually get a job. I can be there next year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so any comments from the board? Other comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second? Second. Do I have a third?
Yes.
Do I have a fourth?
Sure.
All in favor? All right. Thank y'all.